The biggest week of my trading career was followed by a red week, but it's nothing crazy. It's normal and it's okay because in this game of trading, we play by the numbers and the probabilities. So as long as you keep your loser small, you will succeed in this game in the long run. So when you see that you're losing more than what you're used to, you should take a step back, review your trades, and determine if it's your performance that's making you lose or is it because of a changing market environment. What's happening, traders? If you're new here, I try to post daily videos, so please subscribe so you don't miss out on anything. First, I'll be showing you the trades that I closed, whether it's a win or a loss. Then I'll be selecting one stock which I believe has a lesson for us to learn. OEG, I lost in this trade for 1 hour. LIZI, I lost about 1/3 of my full risk on this trade. AREC, again, I lost. As you can see, it's not a very good week for me in terms of profits. So again, I lost 1.1 R. BRQS, it's about a 0.7 R loss. If you don't know what R means, I'll be showing you at the upper right hand corner of your screen the video about it. CPSH, again, it's a loss for a 0.R risk. And this is my only win for this week. QS, I got here 2.3 R. And then this is an option trade, risk to zero. I lost here about 0.3 of an R. So the trade that I'll be discussing today, which I believe has a lesson for us, is GovX. When it broke that 8 level, normally it would go back down that 8 level. So the resistance, a very strong resistance, becomes a very strong support if it wants to go higher. What happened here was I added, instead of having just 1 hour of a risk, I added up to 1 and 1/4 of my risk. So I added size on top of my full R size. What I forgot was that GovX, as you can see, each stock has its own characteristic, and when entering a trade, you should determine what that specific stock is likely to do when it moves. And as you can see with GovX, after it runs up, it goes back down, it pulls back hard. After it runs up, it pulls back hard. Runs up, pulls back hard, runs up, pulls back hard, runs up, pulls back hard. And this happened a lot of times, which tells us that after it breaks out, supposed to sell off right after that. And because I failed to recognize that earlier, I added and didn't even take that initial run up. So that's the only trade I should be getting into in this. After that run up, I sell everything and then let it pull back, and trade is done. And as you can see, I entered there for another size, and I was very disappointed why it was selling off hard when the 8 level was very strong. So it's supposed to be making this 8 level a very strong support. And then as you can see, after I run up, and it sells off again. So after realizing that this has the tendency to go back down, I moved my stop higher as to go back to that 1 R risk and not having the 1 and 1/4 R risk that I initially planned. So determine what a specific stock's characteristic is before you enter a trade. So the only position that I have coming into next week is MOGO. This has a high volume day relatively, and then it went sideways, so it's holding its gains. So that's a very good sign. And as you can see in the hourly chart, that it had defended this 8.5 level. This 10 area is the resistance. You can see that it broke above that level with volume, so that's a very good sign. I waited. I saw this action this week. This is very apparent that they break a resistance level with volume, but then it goes back down and then it finally falls off. So I waited for another confirmation, and as you can see here, this was the confirmation that I wanted. So I got in here twice, actually 2 orders, but I am in here for about 2/3 of my full size. So again, I'm trying to be as conservative as I can because of the market condition. and I'll probably add next week if this move confirms and holds this trend. So stocks that I'll be watching for Monday and the rest of the week. First is MOGO. I am watching this for a possibility of an ad because I'm not in this full size yet. Next is TLRY. So you may have known this stock in the recent cannabis sector. I'm waiting for this to fall off the radar, and it's actually doing that right now, but I still need the confirmation that it wants to go higher. So I'll be waiting for this the next couple of days or weeks, but definitely this is a day-to-day watch for me moving forward. So VISL, these moving averages are holding the trend. It broke it once, twice, but got reclaimed again, and you can see it again here. So I believe this moving average is very accurate in determining its move currently. And as you can see that after it goes up, it goes back down, so it's not really having that momentum that I want in a stock, but I'll be keeping an eye on this. But as of now, I'm looking at the 6.2 level as my first target. 2/3, I'll be removing 2/3 of my position there and then trailing the rest. I'm doing this because in prior weeks I was only removing 1/4, 1/3 of my full position on the first target. But with this type of market environment without any follow through, I'll be taking off majority of my position, then trailing just a small size. So FUBO, I'm looking at this trend line to be broken and then holding above it for a move higher. But you just have to consider that earnings report is coming March 2. So earnings is always a gamble. But in any case, my initial position on this stock will be most likely beyond March 2. So earnings report will most likely be not a factor, but it can be a catalyst for the move that I am watching for in FUBO. HOL, again, I explained this that if this was in prior weeks, I would have entered this at least partially. But as you can see, it's not having the follow through that I have been winning in the past couple of weeks. So I'm just waiting for this, but still keeping an eye on this. No particular plan, depends on the price action moving forward. EBON, this is a China computer hardware company. As you can see, it's gaining volume, which means there's definitely a demand for this. So I'm keeping an eye on this, and all-time highs is just around 15. No specific plans yet. It may just sell off right here, or it may just curl, or it may just consolidate for a few days, but I'm keeping an eye on this. So BTWN, as you can see on the daily, it's having a higher low and a very somewhat predictable price action. After running up, it pulls back. It looks like it's making a bull flag every time it goes up. So a bull flag is a pullback after a strong move, then pull back again. So right here, I'm expecting this to hopefully make a bull flag 1, 2, 3 days after, and then having a tighter range within the 16 and 17 area, and then a possibility of a move higher. So that's gonna be my plan. And as for the profit target, nothing yet. This is a cleaner chart, but I'm not sure if this can move, but no plans on this yet. I'll be assessing this day by day. If you find value in this video, all I ask is to hit that like button and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.